Today is the last day we're going to be working on the section in the book entitled Proving Theorems, but today we're going to working on proofs from start to finish on our own. And looking at my first proof today, my given information is the measure of angle 1 is equal to the measure of angle 2, and the measure of angle 3 is equal to the measure of angle 4. And I'm trying to prove that the measure of angle XYZ is equal to the measure of angle TUV. Now, looking at my diagrams and my given and my proof statements, I have to come up with some sort of plan. So I'm trying to figure out what do I know and what could I possibly use. Now, I notice in my given information, I'm looking at two sets of smaller angles, and then my proof statement, I'm looking at larger angles. So I may have to add something along the way, so I'm going to write that down. I'm going for a small angle to big angle, so I might have to add. I'm going to put a question mark because I'm not sure. And also, whenever we have angles broken up into pieces, I might have to use angle addition postulate. So angle addition postulate is certainly on my list of things that I might have to use. Now we're ready to work on our proof. So my first statement, I have my given information. So I have the measure of angle 1 is equal to the measure of angle 2. And I also know that the measure of angle 3 is equal to the measure of angle 4. So that's already in my statement, so I'm actually going to mark that. So I have 1 is equal to 2, and then I have 3 is equal to 4. So I'm going to mark that so I have that in my statement. Now, when I'm looking at what I want to do next, I notice in the step 1, I have two equality statements. Now again, going back to where I'm trying to go, I need to get to those big angles. I need to put them together so I can prove that they're equal. So my next statement, I'm actually going to add the angles. And I'm going to pick 1 and 3 go together. Do you see in the left-hand diagram there? So I'm going to say the measure of angle 1 plus the measure of angle 3 is equal to the measure of angle 2 plus the measure of angle 4. And what I did was I added two equality statements. So this is addition, property of equality. At this point, there's nothing else I can do within my proof, so now I have to go back to my diagram. So again, I can use angle addition postulate. We talked about that earlier. Two small angles equal the big angle. So I can say that the measure of angle ZYX is equal to the measure of angle 1 plus the measure of angle 3. I can also say that measure of angle TUV is equal to the measure of angle 2 plus the measure of angle 4. And again, I'm writing this two equality statements in the same line in my proof because the reason's the same. And that's angle addition postulate. Angle addition postulate. Now it looks like I'm getting pretty close. I have what I need here. I just need to start moving things around. So I notice that I want the measure of angle ZYX, which is the same as XYZ. That's the same as 1 and 3, which I have up here in the green. And if I look what I have in the yellow, so I have the measure of angle TUV, and the measure of angle 2 and 4 is together, 2 and 4 is there. So I can basically move things around, and I'll be all set. I'll be at my final proof statement. So I have in my final step, I have the measure of angle XYZ is equal to the measure of angle TUV, and that's because of substitution. I move things around. Let's take a look at our next proof. So we have given MA is equal to TH. So I'm actually going to just mark this up as I go, as my thought process is going. And then I'm trying to prove that MT is equal to AH. So when I mark that, there's a couple things that I notice. I notice that I'm going from small segments to big segments. So again, small to big. So I might have to add. Again, anytime we're talking about segments, I could use segment addition postulate. It's always an option that I have to kind of keep in the back of my mind. And also, when I notice my diagram, I notice that this AT piece right here is a reflexive piece. I need that for both this for this segment MT, and I also need it for the segment AH. So I'm going to look at reflexive, and AT equals AT. I might need it, I'm not sure, but at least I'm going to write that down on part of my plan. Now I'm ready for my proof. So I've given MA is equal to TH. That's in my given statement. I already have it in my proof, so I can mark my diagram. And again, let's mark where we're trying to go. So I'm trying to get to MT is equal to AH. Now, with the one given statement that I have, I really can't do anything with that. There's only one statement, I can't add anything, so I need to go back to my diagram. So I notice again, we talked about that AT piece. I might need that. So let's do AT is equal to AT, and that's reflexive. Reflexive property of equality. So I'm going to use that. Now what I have, in looking at my two statements I have in my proof, I notice that I have two equality statements, so I can actually put them together. So I'm going to be careful how I put them together. I notice that in this MT, that's equal to MA plus AT. So I'm going to put that side together. MA plus AT is equal to TH plus AT. And what did I do there? I just added. I added the segments together. So that's addition, property of equality. So now I'm starting to go somewhere in my proof. Now if I go back to my diagram, I can use that segment addition, which we use a lot. So I have MA plus AT is equal to MT. And I can also say in the same step that TH plus AT is equal to AH. Now remember, when we put two equality statements or congruent statements in the same step, it means we're doing that because the reason's the same. And this is segment addition postulate. Now if I take a look at what I have at this point, it looks like I'm getting close to the end. I'm ready to start moving things around. So I'm trying to get that MT is equal to AH. So MT is the same as MA plus AT, which I have in step 3. If I also look what I have in yellow, I'm trying to get to AH, which is here, same as this part right here, which is again same as step number 3. So now I'm moving things around. Now I'm ready to go to my last statement. So I have MT is equal to AH. Remember, we talk about a lot. If I'm moving things around, if I'm replacing things, I'm substituting. So this is substitution, property of equality.